Now, this one is going to be about the times the guys have been the two-time runner-ups. Quite an impressive list here. Bob Pettit, Bill Russell, Bob McAdoo, George Gervin, Joel Embiid, Wilt Chamberlain, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Magic Johnson, Kevin Garnett, and Shaquille O'Neal. Now, the interesting thing about the last name I mentioned was Shaquille O'Neal. His was within 10 years from one each other, which is crazy, from 95 to 2005. So people who don't understand how dominant Shaquille O'Neal was, how many players do you know from a 10-year period could be our MVP runner-up from one decade to another with this third team by then? For Orlando, he went to the Lakers, then he was in Miami. That's a heck of a statement in its own self. Very few people have been on that level. For the people who don't understand why this man is a top 4 or 5 player ever. Okay, where you rank him, Shaq is way up there, because when you look at the stats and everything he compiled and what he did, and all the people talking about, well, he could have done more and all that. Well, what he did, a lot of people would love to have the half of what he did. The half. Because what he accomplished, and even though he gets nauseated when he talk about the 4 rings, he do got 4 rings, but it was what he did. His stats speak for themselves, and that's quite impressive with the MVP thing. Because if they'd have had a balance of the East and West, he probably has about 5 or 6 rings. 5 or 6 MVPs. So. But anyway, his was interesting. The only person who had the same thing that I noticed from a decade to another decade was Jerry West, who was a 4-time runner-up. So, anyway. Magic Johnson, just like Jordan and everything, you think he'd have a lot more because he won and he was quite dominant. So you're kind of surprised that when you find out there's only 2 times he was a runner-up, you think there's a lot more. Same thing with Bill Russell. I'm sitting up there like, Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain and Shaq, you just... See, this is why when you see these kind of lists, and let me make a difference. I did the first one a day before about 4 times, and I'm doing the 3 yesterday. I'm doing the 2 today. There's only 17 of these guys who fit this mark that were multiple runner-ups. So that should tell you that there aren't a whole lot of... We talk about the greatest of the greatest. I say like your top 25. But some of these guys might not be considered top 25. You might have a question mark about Kevin Garnett. It depends. Joel Embiid, he sure as heck ain't. So it's the timing where he came from. And James Harden, same thing. So it depends on who we're talking about. But by and large, most of these guys are top 25. They're considered the top tier. Bob McAdoo doesn't get his due. And